Good morning, Heritage. I don't usually get to say that. I'm not usually doing this part. Good morning, Heritage. Good morning. I love that. That is very cool. Welcome to Heritage, Universalist Unitarian Church. I'm Bill Gupton. I am still the senior minister here for a couple more months until I retire. So I'm happy to welcome each and every one of you, choir, congregation, Zoom, to our worship service this morning. Particularly want to welcome newcomers who are here for the first or maybe second or third time. Welcome to our community. I hope you will find this to be, and I trust you will find this to be, a very welcoming and loving congregation. And if you have any questions or need to make any connections, we have a greeter today. That would be our board president, Jamie Castle, over there on the side. Check in with Jamie after the service, and Jamie will be happy to show you around, answer questions, and so on. Not to put any more stress or strain on them, but I want us to welcome Lucy Rogers, our new tech coordinator, back there at the tech table. Welcome, Lucy. Thank you. It's Lucy's first flight, so may the winds be gentle and the landing be smooth. One particular, I call your attention to the announcements on the back of your order of service. There's one that did not get in, so I want to share this with all the families, folks with young people in the home or with you today. There's a family social at 50 West right after the service. If you have, you probably should have already been notified about that, but if you have questions or need more details, speak with Laci Lee Adams, our Director of Lifespan Faith Development, after the service, and she'll help you get to 50 West and have some fun after the service. We're probably going to have some fun during the service as well. One kind of fun I'd rather not have is hearing your interesting notification noises and so on. So if you would please turn off your phones as we get ready to begin worship. One final announcement I'd like to highlight. Next Sunday, we are having a new member ceremony. And if you are not yet a member of Heritage Church but would like to become one, next Sunday is the time to do that if you're available. And if you have questions about what membership means, please speak with me after the service. At this time, I call Laci forward to offer our call to worship.
Let us allow the words of UU minister and anti-racist activist Leslie Takahashi root us in this place and time and community. To worship means to consider that which has worth. Today we consider with gratitude the many gifts of this community, the opportunity to be affirmed in who we are and to offer that affirmation to others, the chance to stand up together to help remake the world in the ideal of justice, the freedom to choose one's own path to truth and to learn from the travelogues of others, the space to expand one's own spirit and to reconnect after busy or humdrum weeks with the sustaining truths of one's life. Regular reminders that we must see our world through the lens of love and the aspiration to consider all life as precious. For if all of it is made of stardust, how can it not be wondrous? So this morning, let's welcome all of those gifts with gratitude, for they have been paid for with many currencies. The blood of those who have died so that we can be free in our religion, the sweat of those who persisted in justice's name against hostility and adversity, the tears of those who struggle to build better lives for those in this life, the questions of our children as they understand the world anew and offer their understandings to us as fresh lenses, the laughter and the joy of those giddy with the embrace of community, the dollars and cents of those who gave what they could and then stretched a little more, the infinite small acts of service that make the parts greater than the whole, done by those who knew themselves in sympathy with our purposes. So today we consider with gratitude and humility what it means to pay forward, what has been paid forward for us. And now with all of this, let us enter into worship with gladness in our hearts. Please rise now in body and in spirit as we deepen our worship and gratitude with our opening hymn, Now Let Us Sing, and renewing our covenant with each other and with God. By this covenant we affirm, love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
So we gather this morning on Stewardship Sunday as an intergenerational, all-ages community of faith. What that means to us is that we celebrate together, we worship together, we gather together, and all voices are welcome. We hear very young voices in the sanctuary. We will sometimes hear maybe a baby cry. We will hear young people asking questions. We will hear baby boomers asking questions. And all that is okay because we are a community. We are a strong community of hope, of joy, and of vision. This morning's service is titled Moving Forward with Hope, Joy, and Vision, in which you will be looking to the future of Heritage Church through those lenses, and you will be making your commitment to that future. You'll notice that I just said you as opposed to we. Normally on Stewardship Sunday, I would be offering you the message, but we are now in different times. We are in liminal times. We're in in-between times. And I will not be with you next year as you lean with hope and joy and vision into the future of this beloved church. So it is appropriate that others who will be here, will be offering you the message this morning. Now, when I say I won't be here, I will, of course, always be with you in spirit and in love. But today, our stewardship message will be coming from others who will walk with you into that bright, shared future together. We begin that process, we begin the worship service with our beloved choir, directed by Steve McCamley. And it's time now for the choir to sing for us as we begin Stewardship Sunday.
Amen. Our Time for All Ages today is actually going to be a legend in the form of an animated video, so you won't actually hear me so much, but I just wanted to give a bit of context before that happens. Legends and stories are not frivolous in nature. They tell us something true and And I encourage you to be explorers and open your hearts and minds and spirits to connect to this story and what it might teach us about our community and about our lives.
Once upon a time, there were 3 sisters who lived together in a field. These sisters were quite different from one another in their size, shape, and way of dressing. One of the 3 was so young that she could only crawl at first, and if she wanted to stand up, she had to twine herself around her eldest sister. This sister wore velvet green with delicate tendril ribbons. The second of the 3 sisters wore a frock of bright yellow and enjoyed running off across the field when the sun shone and the soft wind blew in her face. The third sister was the eldest. She was always standing very straight and tall above the other sisters, trying to guard them. There was only one way in which the 3 sisters were alike. They loved one another very much and were never separated. They were sure they wouldn't be able to live apart. After a while, a stranger came to the sisters' field. It was a little Iroquois boy. He was as straight as an arrow and as fearless as the eagle that circled his head far above in the sky. He knew the way of talking to the birds and the small brothers of the earth, the mouse, the groundhog, the chipmunk, squirrel, and fox. The 3 sisters were very interested in this little Iroquois boy. They watched him fit his arrow in his bow, saw him carve a bowl with his knife, and wondered where he went at night. Late that summer, the youngest sister in green velvet, who couldn't stand up without the help of her big sister, disappeared. Her sisters mourned for her until the fall, but she did not return. Once again, the little Iroquois boy came to the 3 sisters' field. He came to gather reeds at the edge of the nearby stream and make arrow shafts. The 2 sisters who were left watched him and gazed at him with wonder, as they noticed prints of his moccasins marking his trail to the field. That night, the sister who dressed in brilliant yellow and always wanted to run off across the field disappeared. She left no mark of her going, but it may have been that she set her feet in the moccasin tracks of the little Iroquois boy. Now there was only one sister left. Tall and straight, she stood in the field, not once bowing her head with sorrow, but it seemed to her that she could not bear to live in her field alone. The days grew shorter and the nights grew colder. Her green shawl faded and grew thin and old. Her hair, once long and golden, was now brown and tangled by the wind. Day and night she sighed for her sisters to return to her, but they did not hear her. Her voice, when she tried to call them, was low and sad like the wind. But one day, when it was the season of the final harvest, the little Iroquois boy heard the crying of the 3rd sister. He felt sorry for her, so he took her to the lodge of his father and mother. Oh, what a surprise awaited her! Her 2 lost sisters were there at the lodge of the little Iroquois boy, safe and very glad to see her. They had been curious about the boy, and they had gone home with him to see how and where he lived. They had liked his warm log house so well they decided to stay there for the cold winter, and they were doing all they could to be useful. The little sister in green, now quite grown up, was helping to keep the dinner pot full. The sister in yellow sat on the shelf drying herself, for she planned to fill the dinner pot later. The 3rd sister joined them, ready to grind some meal for the Iroquois family's bread. Ever since then, the 3 sisters spent their spring and summers in the field together, and their winters in the log house, helping to feed the family of the little Iroquois boy. And the 3 have never been separated since.
Try to remember what you might have learned. It might matter later. Okay. As part of our Stewardship Sunday, what we want to do is highlight some of the things in our community where we see our hope, vision, and joy present. So I wanted to start with a tale that I had been told when I first came, and that really could not be realized until Charlotte came in our midst. So I want to share the story of Connie's vision and Charlotte's joy. One of the many things that were in the office when I started was this box, this little black box that had a handle and wheels on it, and I had no idea what was in that box. And I asked someone, like, what is this box? They're like, oh, those are hand chimes. I was like, chimes? We have hand chimes? What would I do with those? But they were there, and I knew they were there. And so at some point in time, I started to ask about these chimes. And someone told me, oh, you need to talk to Bob Booth. And so I went and I talked to Bob Booth. And Bob told me that at some point in time, Connie had a vision that she wanted this church to have chimes. We didn't have a hand chime choir at that time. We didn't maybe know that we could use them, but it was something that she thought we could benefit from, that a way that we could grow, a way that we could have a fuller expression. And so the chimes were purchased, and others in the community made bolsters so that when we play a full chime choir, we have a place to put them so that they're safe. And there is even a mystery to this tale, and that there are some larger chimes as part of the set that Bob says Connie did not purchase, that another anonymous, secret, unknown giver gave to the church. If you happen to be that giver, I would love to hear from you eventually, to hear about that. But those extra chimes were a special add-on to the vision that Connie had. Well, Charlotte came at some point in time about 2 years ago. We had the occasion to budget for having Charlotte come to be with us as the kind of music extraordinaire for our kids and youth. And so Charlotte regularly throughout the year spends time with our kids, teaching them music, teaching them to sing, teaching them how to play these beautiful chimes, helping to bolster our ministry to kids and families through music. And she does that also with Peace Camp and to support our expansion of Peace Camp. And so I happened to be talking to Charlotte about some other things, about some other questions I had, some desires we had for our kids and how best to serve them. And in the midst of that conversation, Charlotte got so excited by what I was saying to her that she said, "Oh, I think I can write a piece of music about that." And Charlotte went off and she wrote the music and she sent me something that I think is sheet music of some sort, like something that has like little letters. I don't know. I have no idea what that was. But I was like, yeah, that looks great. She also sent me like a recording of it. And as part of the note, she said, "Look, and it's even prepared for a bit of chaos." And I was like, perfect, that's perfect. So today, as our musical response to our community snapshots and first speakers, we are going to premiere this little piece of music that Charlotte has made for our kids and for all of us to use on the chimes. So here's where I'm going to invite you into a bit of flexibility. First, kids, can the kids please come forward? Charlotte's going to start to sort of prepare the kids so that they know what to do, so you all come forward. There are 9 chimes included in this piece of music. Let's count them. 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I have 6 kids? 7. Is there an adult who might like to join the chime choir? No, do we have enough? 2, 4. That's still 7, I think. I need a volunteer, thank you. Okay. All right, so Charlotte's going to there we go. Charlotte's going to get everyone organized. Okay. The kids will play the chimes, but we all will sing. So in this way, we will together give life to this piece of music. Okay? Okay, good job.
Would you mind playing me a C chord for a second? Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the vision. Oh, sorry, I said echo. Pardon me, I'm a little nervous. Let's sing the whole thing first. Then we'll do line by line. Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Please echo me. I'm going to do one line. Hope is the flame that resides deep within you.
Hope is the flame that resides deep within you.
Joy is the fire we share.
Joy is the fire we share.
Vision is where we will take this burning.
Vision is where we will take this burning
desire to make the world fair.
desire to make the world fair.
2 lines. Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Ready, go. Hope is the
flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share.
Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Good. Let's read that whole thing together. Do you mind playing the chords underneath? Thank you. Try it with me. Here we go. Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Excellent. Now we're going to add some bells. And if you guys are in order, it doesn't really matter, but when I point to you, I want you to play your bell, and there's no wrong answer. Okay? We're going to speak into time. I'm not the order. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's going to be different every time. It'll be great. All right, so when I point to you, play your bell, and I want you to keep doing it over and over again until I tell you to stop. Okay? Let's try it. Can we try with the chord progression? 1, 2, here we go. Bing bong, bing bong. Bing bong. Good. One more time. Good.
Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair.
One more time.
Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Hope is the flame.
Hello, my name is Bailey Larson. I am fairly new to this church and was asked to speak about why I came and how I got involved so quickly. After the election results, I felt very depressed and hopeless. I had no idea what to do and had no real outlet to channel those emotions into something positive. So I am still new to the area, recently moved, and I also had no community to organize with. I had actually learned about Unitarian Universalist churches only a year ago, and I knew what they stood for and hoped I would find like-minded people who wanted to act. Coincidentally, I came on the same day as the Social Justice Collaborative meeting and was welcomed in. Even though I had only just sat through my first Sunday service, I felt very determined and signed up to work on a climate change project with help from the fabulous Louisa Ware. My first act of social change is to help host a short film festival here at the church. It is on March 25th at 7 p.m. It is a collection of short films on the topic of climate change from different countries and artists that are meant to grab our attention and evoke emotions to bring about change more than maybe statistics or graphs can. I hope to see a lot of faces there, and I really hope more people consider joining the Social Justice Collaborative. It is difficult to know even just how to start to get more involved in social change. And this congregation has a group of intelligent, dedicated, and experienced people that have been working on meaningful projects and are in touch with other amazing organizations. There are a variety of problems that need fixing, and while the social justice group is taking action, it is a small portion of what we could potentially do. I know we have the opportunity to donate to amazing causes every week, but if you still feel restless and are wanting to do more, come to a meeting. Additionally, if you have any friends that want to get involved but aren't really interested in Sunday service, I would suggest they come to a meeting. A lot of people feel powerless, and many hands make light work. So that is what I have to say.
Yes, again.
So the form we're going to do, we'll have the bells play as an introduction. We'll sing it twice. Bells play. That'll be it. Okay. When you've got your bell in your hand, remember to hold the bottom of the bell. Yeah, good. Gloves don't have to be perfect. They just have to be. All right. Let's give it a go real quick. We're gonna have you guys play first. Then everybody will sing, and then you'll play throughout. Try to play when I point to you. Okay? Ready? Eyes on you. 1, 2, here we go.
Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair. Hope is the flame that resides deep within you. Joy is the fire we share. Vision is where we will take this burning desire to make the world fair.
One of the hallmarks of our community is to gather together to share our joys and our sorrows in candles of community. I have always felt like it is an essential element of an all-ages service that our kids are present for the candles. They will never learn to worship with us how to worship if they don't worship with us. And that is why during all ages services, we often keep them here for candles. I have, however, received some feedback from our families that we find ourselves in a particularly difficult moment as a country and as a community, and that not all of our families feel like it is an equally powerful experience for our kids to stay present for all of it. So during this time, we're going to continue to use this piece of music that Charlotte has written throughout all ages services as a way of calling our kids back into worship. But during Candles of Community, when our kids are present, we are going to invite our kids who have candles that they want to share first. And if families do not feel like their kids should stay during the entirety of the candles, we're going to invite those families to find their way into our family lounge temporarily until candles are over. And then when you hear this music that you have just heard, that is your invitation to return. We want our kids in our community, but we also want to support them in how they learn with us. So for this time being, this is something we're going to be trying, okay? So, kids, do you hear me? If you have a candle that you want to share, I want for you to come line up here first, okay? If you don't, that's fine. You can go back to your seat temporarily with your parents. But if you have a candle you want to share, I want you to come forward first, okay? Otherwise, was that? Right here. If you have a candle, line up now. Okay. If you don't, you can go back with your parents, and then you can leave after the kids share, okay? All right. Jane, do you have a candle? Okay, right there. And let us light one more candle for the joys or sorrows that might go unspoken that lay on our hearts.
Good morning. I've been told not to touch this mic. Neil, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. It's been a long, crazy morning for me, so I'm thrilled to just be here. Just looking to see who's here on Stewardship Sunday. Thank you for being here. I always like to start out with a little bit of background on how we kind of come up with what needs to happen for Stewardship Sunday, or for Stewardship campaign, how we arrive at kind of a goal and maybe even a theme. I usually attend a board meeting, or maybe a couple, this year a couple, as we're planning for what the needs are upcoming. I am our stewardship chair, also on our finance committee, so work closely with the board in both of those arenas. And just last Monday, I attended our board meeting to finalize what we needed our goal to be. And we had a very rich and active discussion among the board. We kind of, we recognize there's a lot we're trying to do and take on. We got into some brainstorming about ways we might really lift up kind of revenue coming into the church in the next church year. Rebecca, I remember you mentioned cryptocurrency as something that we might try to kind of make work for us. We talked about that for a little while. We decided it just wasn't going to work. Our Breeze platform, where we take our online donations, does not support crypto donations yet, so we'll have to save that one for the future. But it was brainstorming, so all ideas are good. Jamie, I remember you talking about how we should be able to make tariffs work for us. I don't remember the particulars of that discussion. I just remember the phrase "big, beautiful budget surplus" coming up multiple times. That one stuck with me. I don't know if you remember that, Jamie. But okay. Most of that is completely untrue. We actually did have a serious discussion about the priorities for our 25-26 budget year. Some of the things that we're facing in the next year, name the top of that list would be that we are in a transition. We are just beginning the process of searching for a new minister, a new full-time minister for our congregation. There will be transition costs associated with hiring outside consultants, even planning for possible moving costs, depending on who we might offer a position to. We are, as is quite often the case, interested in giving our staff kind of fair share raises for the great work they do for us. Just as we did last year, we are interested in increasing modestly our RE budget to support the growth of that program here in the church, including the expansion of our children's music director's involvement from 8 times a year to once a month. So what a great morning to have you here with us this morning. There's a lot that we're trying to do, and it actually was a very challenging discussion to really wrap our minds around all the things that we need to accomplish. But I will tell you, and this is absolutely true, and it came up very organically in the discussion, that we ended our meeting on an extremely energized and hopeful note. And just sort of in the discussion, people started raising aspects of our community that they find hopeful, that they find energizing, that give them joy. We are the second largest UU congregation in Cincinnati. Anyone know that? And we are the representative of Universalism in this entire region. We have, if not the largest, possibly we might, but if not the largest, then at least the fastest growing religious education program in the city. You saw that this morning. Oh, I touched the mic. You saw that this morning, I think, on great display. We have a thriving and growing Peace Camp program in the summer that brings kids from within and outside of our congregation. Really, really cool, really exciting. And at the end of that discussion, Roger, and this is true, Roger shared an anecdote and I missed last week's service, but here at last week's service, he described the cheering and clapping that broke out when it was announced that we've hired Reverend Mitra Jafarzadeh and Rabbi Jonathan Cohen of Courage and Covenant to lead our ministerial transition process. We are ready for this change, and we are energized by it. And look at you. You here and on Zoom, you are here on Stewardship Sunday. Whether you're physically here or you're joining via Zoom, that counts. I mean, if you're on Zoom and you've made it this far into my stewardship message, I don't think you're going to sign off yet. So you're with me. And I often think as I'm preparing for the stewardship campaign, and I think about Stewardship Sunday in particular, I think it's just one Sunday. It's just the people who happen to show up, and I have so many more beyond all of you who are here with me today. There's so many more that I need to reach. And I suppose that's technically true, but I'm also aware that you are the people who decided to show up on this day. So I have an ask for all of you. I ask you to spread the word, share the energy of our congregation with other members and friends, as well as the message that supporting our energy and our growth requires a robust financial commitment. And in fact, I think the concept of stewardship itself is elevated during a transitional time, like the one we're in right now. Bill Gupton is the only UU minister, there you are, I've ever known, this is the only UU congregation. We've been here almost 20 years, and Bill's been right with me and my family and many of us throughout that entire time and beyond. But Bill is not this congregation. We are. You are. Now is one of the times when we define and we distinguish ourselves as a congregation. This place belongs to us. This is our religious home. It's our physical facility, and we are the stewards of its upkeep and of the development and growth of our staff. It will be hard, it will be challenging, but our stewardship can and must support this transition effort, literally provide ballast and ease the challenge by making the right decision now to dig deep and ensure that we remain financially stable throughout this super important transition time that we're in. The irony is that this effort is both absolutely required and necessary, and it is completely discretionary. We do covenant to be here together, and I know that collectively we'll provide the needed financial support to take us into our new era as a congregation. Now, you may notice that I have not mentioned any numbers. I'm going to take a page from Bailey, who I will quote, says she wants to bring about change maybe more than statistics or graphs can show. I love that line, and that was my idea this morning as well. Let me talk about the logistics of the campaign and where we go from here. You will all receive an email from me in the next day or two with your specific pledge ask, with your current, if you are an existing pledger, a member or friend, what is your current pledge and what is it that we're asking of you as we plan for next year. There are those who are regular pledgers who update their pledge every year. There are those who are sustaining pledgers who choose to say, I will make my pledge a financial commitment that doesn't change from one year to the next unless and if I tell you it should go up or it should change in any way. Those are our sustainers. We have new members, new friends who are new pledgers in the congregation, and for those folks, you'll see information linked to our website. Our stewardship site is up and running now. Thank you, Antonio. Where you'll see all the data that I'm not digging into right now, but I want you to go and I actually want you to feel some sense of, Reed didn't tell me that, I want to figure this out. What are we in for this year? Go to the website, read your email when you receive it. And for new pledgers, there is information about what does our average pledge look like. Just to give you one data point. There's also a link to a site that gives you a worksheet for what's called fair share pledging that allows you to work through just a few numbers, a really basic kind of calculation looking at your income, your expenses, your level of commitment to the church, and based on plugging in a few numbers, what your fair share pledge would look like. And that's an approach that I've used with my family for many years now. So there's lots of data and information that will be shared with you in the next couple of days. You'll hear also over the coming weeks and couple of months more from me, I'm sure. We'll have folks coming up, just as they have this morning, to talk about what this church means for them and what kinds of things we're looking forward to in the next church year. So this is really a pledging and a stewardship season, not a stewardship Sunday. This is really just the kickoff to that season. And thankfully, we are getting a little bit of an earlier start this year, just based on the date we chose. We will settle on what our pledge kind of total is about mid-May. And then I'll meet with the board again, and we'll prepare the final budget that will come to the congregation for your approval at our annual meeting. And I didn't actually look. It's either like the very last Sunday in May or the first Sunday in June each year. June 1st, I'm hearing. So that will be when we all kind of make our final vote on that budget. So I look forward to that process with all of you. And again, I look forward to all of you helping to spread that word and share the energy and share the excitement and kind of feel the hope and the joy that we have ahead of us in this really key time for our congregation. Thank you.
We have slated another musical response, but in consideration of time, I think I'm going to call Jane forward so we can move towards sharing our abundance.
Good morning. I am Jane Colbrook, and I'm here to tell you about our offering today. If you are unfamiliar with how we do our offering at Heritage, each week 100% of what we collect gets donated to a nonprofit organization that we want to support. Today we are collecting for Found House. For those on Zoom, you can find a link in the chat to donate online. The mission of Found House Interfaith Housing is to provide shelter, housing, and support to families experiencing housing insecurity. To strengthen those services through interfaith and community partnerships in pursuit of a community where all families have access to affordable housing. Found House has several programs to help families avoid or overcome homelessness. They even have a program that helps families keep ownership of their pets, even though they are dealing with homelessness. One of their programs is Emergency Shelter, where families stay for a short amount of time at different churches or places of worship. On November 23rd, we went to St. John's UU Church. My family and a few other families from church were there. A couple friendly families were with us and would be spending the night there at St. John's. The families from Heritage each chipped in and made a dish for dinner. We also had a fun time playing hide and go seek and playing with remote control cars. We went to the basement where the families would be sleeping, and it made me feel sad for them because it was an industrial looking, not very homey feeling space, but I was glad that they would have a place to stay and would be getting help with finding a home. I'm glad that organizations like Found House exist so that families in need can be helped. Your generosity is greatly appreciated.
You might be antsy right now. I appreciate that, considering the time. So let's just acknowledge where we might feel. And if you are feeling antsy in your body, stand up, move around a little, shake it off. We are nearing the end, I promise. The legend of the three sisters is a tale that you see in a great many indigenous cultures, particularly of the Northeast and the Plains. The specifics of this story, legend we heard earlier, is specific to the Haudenosaunee Nation, but it is a common tale in part because the practice of planting in this way, companion planting, is a common practice that maximizes the space available to you and allows different plants that have different gifts and needs to support one another. The tiny ground-dwelling plant are beans. The fast-running sister is squash. If you've ever grown squash in your yard, you know exactly what that's about. And corn, the ever-standing, present, tall, and ever sturdy plant is corn. I think the metaphor of companion planting is helpful to us, particularly in times of stewardship or of times of transition. We are not all the same kind of plant. We do not all have the same needs, and we do not all have the same gifts to give to the soil in which we are planted. We have different gifts, and we have different things to give. But when we give them together, it makes the richest soil, and it makes it possible for all of us to grow. That is the essential wisdom of any sort of companion planting. The corn gives sturdiness to the beans so that it might grow and branch. The ground cover given by the squash helps to cool the soil and maintain a good growing temperature. And obviously, the sturdiness of the corn gives many things to the beans and to the squash. Each of us has a role to play in this soil of this community. And in times of transition, we might have the urge to pull away, to pick up our seeds, to hold them for another time, to wait and see what another season might have. But I encourage you to plant your seeds now in this community. Bailey's message reminds us that now is the moment in which our witness is most needed. Now is the moment in which we have the most to give. Now is the moment that if we put our seeds in the soil together, we have the capacity to do the best, most powerful growing. And our growing, this church, of our progressive values, of our message to the world, It is a message needed desperately right now and today. Transitions are hard. Let me say that again, because it's worth acknowledging. Transitions are hard. Change is profoundly difficult. I know that, and you know that, and it doesn't serve us well to pretend it's not true, because we experience change sometimes as difficult. But change is also a time of powerful potential. When we hit a moment where so many things could be up for grabs, it is also a time of powerful possibility. We have a moment right now with a ministerial transition to think about and talk about and express the kind of community we will be. That kind of self-reflection is powerful. It is crystallizing. It gives us the potential to think about who we are, to celebrate our strengths, and they are many. Our choir, our children, our social justice work, our community. The power in this community is great. The plants that we have planted are beautiful and thriving. And so that moment to be able to look, to see the beauty of our garden, to see our square of companion planting, it gives us the chance to say, hey, these things are amazing. Who do we need to steward that plot of garden? Who do we want to be our gardener so that we might continue to thrive? This moment of ministerial transition gives us the chance to make sure that we have the garden that we want for the future and that we have a tender who can tend us well as we seek that new future. And in that season of growth, our ability to lean in with our hands, not come away. Our ability to put our seeds down into the ground and nurture them, not take them away. That is the thing that will continue to keep us thriving. Giving, we live in a culture that does not talk well about money. Talking about money, it's like not something we do. When you are newly married, when you do marital counseling, they say that finances are one of the things which married people struggle the most about because we don't know how to talk about money, not even with the person who is our most intimate companion. We don't always know how to make decisions about money, and we certainly don't want anyone talking about that from a pulpit. Oops. But so we find ourselves year after year on a Stewardship Sunday asking someone to talk spiritually about something that is in a way profoundly practical and very taboo. But you know what? We are people who can lean into hard things. We are people who are capable of having complicated conversations, and we are people who are willing to engage each other to determine how best we can grow together. And so we talk about money, our giving, and how that giving supports this community. I am amazed always of this community, about our willingness and our capacity to do things that we might otherwise look too small to do. Our willingness to give both of our money and our time, to give generously of each other, to care for each other, to nurture each other, and to do that both in interpersonal ways and in support of the community. These things, these beautiful gifts that we have, the specific and beautiful things of our plants, these are the things we need now. So as you look over the materials that we get from Reed, as you think about your giving in the coming year, I want you to think about what are the things, what are the seeds that you have yet to plant? And think about how you might plant them here. Because I know that this is a place, a beautiful place, to plant our seeds so that we can grow together. And that investment and that growth and that support and that willingness to not just with your time, but with your vision and your hope and your perspective to really invest in this community. I want you to invest, yes, with your money, but I also want you to invest with yourself so that as we discern who we will be in the coming years and what we need from a minister, that those conversations and discernments reflect all of us. The more you are present in this community, the more you are present in this space of our garden, the better we will grow together. So think about being generous in your giving, but also be generous with yourself so that we might, like the three sisters, grow in the rich soil of this community. All right. Let us now sing together in body or spirit our closing hymn, The Fire of Commitment. All right, everyone, let's circle up for our benediction. John. Come across the middle, y'all. We currently have a U, and we are UUs, but come on. There we go. Good. There we go. It's like a circuit. It has to be completed. May the Spirit of life, that each of us possesses, flow from one to the other. May it stay with us. And bring us peace and harmony. Until we meet again. Amen.
Oh, yeah.